In this video, I wanted to give an example of how we analyse dreams within the Gestalt theory. And this is something, so previously I came across things like Freudian analysis, which for me just doesn't work. And it's partly because I don't believe that the therapist knows more than the client about their own mind. And I don't think it's possible to select certain items and generalise across the whole population saying, well, this means that and this means that. And the advantage of the Gestalt dream analysis that we use is that it's the client analysing their own dream. And I really like the idea of this. And when we tried it in our training, I just thought it was phenomenally powerful, the way that it worked. So the practice behind it is that you retell your dream in present tense, first person perspective. So that means you say, for example, I am walking down the street. It is raining. I feel cold. And when you retell your dream, you try to think of all of the elements that may be relevant. So how you feel, what the temperature's like, what you can see. So anything that feels relevant, you retell as much detail as you can remember. And when you've done that, you select something from within your dream that feels like it has significance. And you retell the dream, again, present tense, first person perspective, but this time from the perspective of that thing. So it could be another person, it could be an inanimate object, it could be an animal, and you speak as if you are that thing, with the feelings of that thing. Now this works for some people, it doesn't work for others. So if you don't have much of a internal imagination or landscape of imaginings, then you might find this more difficult. If you're quite creative and imaginative or maybe even poetic in the way that you work with things, then you may find that this is a valuable tool. Generally, we say to write it rather than type, because this accesses a part of you, certainly for the older generations, a part of you that is younger. So it's when you write rather than type. Obviously, that's a younger part of yourself. But you can try lots of different ways. You can try speaking out loud, leaving yourself a voice note. You can try writing and you can try typing. So let me give you an example. This example is a dream that I actually had, where a clump of hair fell out. And my assumption about this dream is that it's maybe something to do with fear or loss or something like that. So we'll see what comes out of it. I am in the shower. The water is really warm and soothing. I find it really calming. The sound of the water hitting my head is blocking out all other sounds. And the water feels as if it's cleansing me. And I go to wash my hair and find that a big clump of hair falls out in my hand. I am filled with horror. What is happening? I feel loss. I fear the loss of my youth. I worry about what health problem could be causing this hair loss. And then I drop the hair onto the ground and watch the water pooling around it. So, kind of as I anticipated, that brought up feelings of loss. So I'm going to tell it from the perspective of the hair and see what comes up. I am a clump of hair on Nina's head. She is getting into the shower. She has turned the warmth up, so the water is hot and cleansing me. I am conscious that I am wavy, and for so long I was straight, forced to be something I am not. I am grateful that she has seen my true nature and allows me to be my wavy self, that she understands how to care for me and look after me. I feel the water cleansing me, and I feel something loosening as my roots come free. and I feel liberated. I am no longer constrained in terms of my shape, my pattern. I am no longer constrained in terms of my location. I am free to move wherever I want to move. I am free to flow wherever I want to flow. I am free to be the shape that I want to be and that I was born, that I was created to be. I fall down to the ground and I rest and I settle and I let the water flow round me, continuing to cleanse me. So that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting it to come out like that. And so to me that feels more about identity. You know, and for me I'm thinking maybe it's to do with, so I realised I probably had ADHD about 20 years ago, but there wasn't really the option to go for an assessment then. In terms of availability of what, you know, services. And now going through the process and getting validation at almost every stage, apart from my last one, you can check out more in a previous video about that. But having been accepted on the public health route to have a full assessment is enormously validating. And so in a sense, like the hair, I feel like I'm finally allowing myself to be me in whatever shape that takes, whatever form that takes, and that gives me freedom and liberation. I'm going to try with the water now, see what happens, because the water feels somehow significant. I am the water. I am the life-giving force. I cleanse, I feed, I nourish. Nina has chosen to use me for cleansing on this occasion. She is allowing me to flow warm and comforting from the shower head. I am cleansing her. I am absolving her. And I find I have a halt here, and I'm not sure why. And I think for me it's the phrase, I'm absolving her, reminds me of my Catholic upbringing. I'm being absolved of sins, but I don't think it's about that. It's something to do with responsibility, being absolved of responsibility of others behaviours, others' reactions, others' preconceptions, others' prejudices. I am absolving her of responsibility. That feels right. I'm absolving her of responsibility, and I am letting her be cleansed. I am allowing her to let go of the dirt that tainted her and stained her, and leaving her free to collect the dirt she wishes of grass stains and mud. It's lovely. I enjoy having this function in her life of cleansing and life-giving. It is a pleasing function to have. So there we go. Again, slightly unexpected, but it's actually, honestly, such a small, tiny dream, such a short dream, seemingly insignificant. It's actually filled me with joy and delight by the end of it, to know what it meant, because I had no idea that all of those layers were beneath it. And so the idea in Gestalt is that each thing in our dream is a part of ourselves. And it's certainly in this, I was going to say, quite often in our subconscious. And certainly for me, those two parts were in my subconscious. I was aware of them, but this kind of dream analysis has made them explicit and very much fully in the present and the conscious. And for me, that felt like a very healing process. And, you know, this is something that people do with me in the room. If it feels like a scary dream or something that might bring up difficult feelings, it's something that is probably going to feel more safe to do with a therapist in the room. And by in the room, I mean either physically in the room or in your online session. Or even during an email therapy session, because there are boundaries around this. It is contained. You only have an hour and then you're free of whatever you've raised within that box of a session. But if you can't afford therapy or you don't want to have therapy, then I do strongly encourage you Just start looking at your dreams in this way. Maybe keep a dream journal where you can analyse what's going on at a subconscious level and see if it works for you. See if it helps to bring to your attention parts of you that are currently unheard or unseen. See whether it helps you to become more aware of your inner world. I'd be very interested to hear if any of you do try this and what you think of it. But as always, please do drop me a message if you have any questions about it. If you have found this helpful, as always, please do consider subscribing or sharing this video or my channel with other people. Have a great week, everyone, and take care.